Good morning, dear children. How are you all? Hope you're all fine. My dear children, in the previous class of ours, we were discussing about the reported speech. Especially, we have discussed about the imperative sentences of direct sentence or direct speech, and we have changed those imperative sentences from direct speech to indirect speech. So far in the grammar classes of ours, we have discussed the most important topics like as tenses, during what time, what situation, what tense, what helping verb we have to use, that very clearly we have discussed. Then along with the tenses we have discussed about question tag, we have discussed about frame the questions. Then we returned towards the voices, active voice and the passive voice, which we can call. Then later on we moved towards reported speech, and after completion of the reported speech, our concentration is towards the next topic of the grammar. The topic is finite verb and infinite verb. So most of us are getting confusion in between of the finite verb and infinite verb. We are becoming judgmental to understand what is the exact meaning of the finite verb and infinite verb, and how to identify, how to find out whether it is a finite, infinite or infinitive, gerund. That all the confusions will be there in our mind. So I am standing before you all for clearing all the doubts regarding the verbs, especially about finite verb and non-finite verb. So please, let's concentrate towards the new topic of ours, or new topic of our English grammar is finite and non-finite verb. So the finite verb definition we'll see first, what the definition of the finite verb, so that it can be very easy for us to understand or to identify the finite and infinite or the non-finite verbs. So let's see the definition. A verb which shows time, which indicates about the tense, right? Which shows time, or a verb which is limited by a number, tense, person or gender of the subject is known as a finite verb. You are getting little confusion about this, I think. Let me clear these things with a simple definition. It's a verb which changes according to the nature of the subject. If the subject is in the present tense, the verb will change into present tense. If the subject is in the past tense, the verb will change into past tense. If the subject is in the future tense, the verb will change into future tense. So as according to the nature of the subject, if the verbs are changing, or as according to the number of the subjects or the timeline of the subject, according to that the verbs are changing, that we can call it as finite verb. So let's see the definition one more time so that we can remember it for a longer time in our life. A verb which shows time, or a verb which is limited by number in a sense, a singular, plural verb, plural pronoun in a sense, we, they, us, so such kind of the plural forms we are using. And then again you sometimes. So therefore the number, tense, in which tense it is there, then a person and a gender, he, she, it and on. So like that, in case if the verbs are changing as according to the time, as according to the number, as according to the tense, or as according to the person and the gender, is called as the finite verb. In a simple language, it's a verb which changes according to the nature of the subject. Hope you are understanding. So let's see some examples which are related to the finite verbs. The examples are Neha writes a letter. Neha writes a letter. So one thing we can understand, my dear children, it is in the simple present tense. How can we say it is in the simple present tense? You can identify verb, it is there. For the verb, es or the s letter, it is added for the third person singular. So obviously it is in the simple present tense. So tense wise, if you are seeing, then you can notice out the verb, it is there, and for the verb we have added the es. It is changed here. The second example we'll notice, Neha wrote a letter. Neha wrote a letter. You can identify here, my dear children, it is in the simple past tense. So as the tense change, the verb's nature also changes here. The tense is in the simple present. First one, Neha writes a letter. So verb, it is contained with the es, writes, we can find here. Then in the second example, if you are concentrating, the second example is about simple past tense. So the verb changes here. Write will change into wrote. Neha wrote a letter. So as per the nature of the sentence, or as per the time, we can call time in a sense a present to past. Then again, as per the tense also, it is going to change out as per the definition. If you are concentrating, it's very clearly saying a verb which is changing as according to the nature of the subject, time, or the gender can be called as a finite verbs. So here we can find that Neha writes a letter. Third person singular is there. For that, writes we have written. In place of a Neha, if I am using I as a pronoun, then will it be Neha writes, or will it be I writes only, or it will become the I write? Definitely it will be I write a letter. Okay, here Neha is a third person singular. As according to the third person singular, the verb form also changes here. Instead of write, it's become writes. Then again, when the first person singular will be there we can find only the write, because as according to the subject, verb has changed. Here also, as according to the subject, verb has changed. And here also you can find it as according to the tense, or as according to the time, verb has changed. Then third example, you can notice that they write a letter. They write a letter. It is also in the simple present tense, but the subject, you can notice, my dear children, here the subject is they. Then again, the first form of a verb, we can see that it is completely changed when comparing to the previous two examples. First example is Neha writes a letter. As per the subject, verb has changed. Second example, you can notice Neha wrote a letter. As per the tense, verb has changed. Third example, you can notice they write a letter. Again, as per the subject, third person plural it is. As per the pronoun subject, we can find that the verb has changed. Then fourth example, you can see we have written a letter. We have written a letter. Now the verb also changed. See, here we can find that subject also changed. Instead of a they, it's become we. Then again, tense also changed. Instead of a simple present tense, it is in the present perfect tense. So then we can find that obviously there is a changes in the verb also. So one very clear thing what we can notice, my dear children, here, whenever the subject changes, or as according to the subject, or as according to the tense, the verb also changing its cloth. Verb also changing. See, Neha writes a letter. Verb is write plus es, we can find out. Then again, Neha wrote a letter. V2 form of a verb. Verb has changed here. Then again, they write a letter. Again, the verb it is changed as per the subject here. Then again, we have written a letter. as per the tense and the subject, even the even the verb also changed. So overall, the finite verbs, it means the finite is what it is saying very clearly. It's a verb which changes according to the nature of the subject and the tense. According to the nature and the according to the nature of a subject and the tense, the verbs have changed out. So this we can call it as a finite verbs. Hope you are understanding. Then again, what is the definition of a non-finite verb? Finite verb, clearly we got the information as according to the subject and the tense, gender, the verb which is changing, that can be called as a finite verb, right? Then again, what is the meaning of a non-finite? That we have to understand. The non-finite definition is complete opposite definition of the finite verb. A verb that does not show time, or a verb which is not limited by a number, person and the tense of the subject. In an easy manner, it's a verb which is not at all changing, according to the nature of a subject, time, gender, whatever will be there, it will remain as it is. We cannot change it. It will be in the same position only. So that we can call it as a non-finite term, which is changing as according to the subject, nature of the tense, then again nature of the subject, and the gender wise, if it is changing, the verb is changing, that we can call as a finite verb. If it is not at all changing, even though the whatever the tense will be there, it will be verb will remain as the same only. Even whoever the person will be there, first person, second person, third person, singular, plural, whoever will be there, it will remain same itself. Whatever the number will be there, it will remain same itself. So that we can call it as a non-finite. Let's see some more example which is related to the non-finite. Example number 1. Raman tries to sing. Raman tries to sing. Here you may get a little confusion, my dear children. So two verbs are there. One is tries and another one is to sing. My dear children, in case when you are finding the two verbs, so then when we have to consider it out as an emphasizing word for the sentence. Emphasizing word for the sentence we can call. So the next after this tries, the next two after what will come, that we have to consider as a verb. See, Raman tries, it's an emphasizing. To sing, it's a verb. To sing is a verb. Second one we'll see, it is in the simple present tense, right? Raman tries to sing, simple present tense. We try to sing, it is non-changing. You can find that to sing, Raman tries to sing, not at all changing, it is in the simple present tense. Next sentence is also in the simple present tense, but the subject changes here. Here the third person singular Raman we can find, and here you can notice that first person plural is there. Subject changed here, even though the verb is not at all changing. The verb is constant, it will remain fixed one. We try to sing, Raman tries to sing, no, it will be same only. Then again, we try to sing, no changes in the verb. I have tried to sing, no changes at all in the verb. Then again, they try to sing, even though in this also we cannot find, there is no changes at all, though the subjects have changed. First person, third person singular Raman. So when the subject will be changing, by the time if the verb is changing, it is finite. When the subject is changing, the verb is not at all changing, it is remaining constant. I am going to market, it is constant only. Then again, we are going to market, constant only. Verbs are changing, you can find it, subjects are changing. Instead of I, we have used they are going to market, subject has changed, but it is remaining same itself. See, we went to market, tense have changed, verb has changed, but still tense have changed, subject has changed, but verb will remain same itself. So such kind of the verbs we can call it as a non-finite verbs. In detail we are going to study about this. But before that, my dear children, let me recall you the few things which we have studied already. The pronoun we are classifying into three different types. You know very well. One is a first person singular and a plural we can find. Second person, third person. In first person singular is I. Then again first person plural is we. Second person singular is you, and second person plural is also you only. Then again third person singular is he, she, it. Then third person plural is they. So why I have explained you about the pronouns in a sense, because it will be easy for us to change from the finite verb to non-finite, or to identify which is finite and a non-finite. In case if the first person sentence is there, I try to sing, verb is remaining same itself, right? Then again, we try to sing, verb will remain same itself. However, the pronouns are changing, however the subject is changing, but the verb will remain. If the verb is remaining same or the constant, in a sense, it is called as a non-finite. In detail we'll concentrate about it. So the finite and non-finite we have discussed. Then in non-finite we can find three different kinds are there, my dear children. The non-finite carries three different types. One is infinitives, second one is gerunds, third one is participles. Infinitive, gerunds and participles. So about the finite and non-finite, more examples we'll solve in the next class of ours, and we shall concentrate towards finites, gerunds and participles about the non-finites. Okay, the next class we'll see. Till then, please stay safe and take care of your health. Thank you.